Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Thursday. Your weekend is right around the corner. I'm just looking at how big this shirt is. Good Lord, I'm swallowed in this shirt. It's too big. It's a size too big. I look ridiculous. Let's cut this light on because it's gonna get dark. Oh yeah. I should probably cut that light on because it's gonna get dark. When sunset? It was 5 minutes ago.
Sunset tomorrow will be at 6:27 p.m.
When was sunset tonight?
Sunset was at 6:28 p.m. today.
Yeah, sunset was 5 minutes ago. Nah, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Uh, I had a topic. I've been running down a music hole. I'm learning all this stuff about guitar, but I'm not getting any good guitar energy in my fingertips. So it's that thing. Hey, William, good to see you. I hope all is right. So I was watching. What was I watching? I forgot what I was watching. And they were talking about CIA agents who have been discovered, captured, or killed. And I was like, what? And it's not on television anyplace. I mean, it's been mentioned in a couple of places, but I was like, are we gonna go? This is gonna be a hard one, guys. New York Times: CIA admits to losing informants. See, informants. Compromise CIA admits to losing dozens of informants. I heard other places ages, but officers of risk to human sources. CIA admits to losing dozens of informants around the world. CIA lost dozens of informants, admits they are either, ooh, that's good, admits they're, let's see the title. CIA loses, CIA lost dozens. A dozen is 12. 2 dozen would be 24, right? So it's a minimum of 24 people. Dozens of informants admitted they were either captured, killed, slash compromised. If you know you have a spy in your company, you capture or you kill them. What does compromise mean? What does compromise mean? Washington. Who? First of all, ANI, South Asia's leading multimedia news agent. So this is in Asia. Let's see what they say about it. Washington, U.S., October 7th. That was 7 days ago exactly. Leading counterintelligence officials used a memo to all the CIA global stations saying that a concerning number of U.S. informants were being captured and executed. The CIA Counterintelligence Mission Center investigated dozens of incidents in the last 2 years that involved killing, arrests, or compromises of foreign informants. In an unusual move, the message sent via a top secret cable included the specific number of agents killed by other agents, intelligence, included a specific number of agents killed by other intelligence agencies, according to New York. So that's the KGB killing your CIA agent. That's like the North Koreans, I guess, uh, the Russians, top American counterintelligence officials in an unusual top secret cable said the CIA's counterintelligence mission center had looked at a dozen cases the last several years involving foreign informants who have been killed, arrested, or most likely compromised. What does most likely compromised mean if you're killed, arrested? The cable also noted the specific number by rival intelligence agency. Didn't we just read this? Am I reading the same thing twice? No. This thing just said what this paragraph just said. Uh, the cable also knows the specific number. Highlights the struggle of the CIA. The cable stressed that the agency is having issues as it works to recruit spies worldwide in difficult operating environments. First of all, who wants to work for you if everybody thinks you're arrogant, right? I mean, American people say it or not, but even our allies, citizens, loved us like 20, 30 years ago. Now, even our allies got stupid shit to say. You can imagine if they're approached by the Secret Service, right? The Secret Service, the CIA. The cable also acknowledged that the recruiting spies is a high-risk business. Also emphasized that in recent years, various issues have plagued the agency, such as poor tradecraft. That means being shitty spies. Poor tradecraft, being too trusting of sources. Yeah. Understanding foreign intelligence agencies, underestimating rather foreign intelligence agencies, and moving too quickly to recruit informants while not paying enough attention to potential counterintelligence risks. Yeah, they got lazy. We said this though. We said this like 6 months ago. A problem the cable calling plays mission over security, according to New York. Mission over security. Wow, that's fucked up. Considering if you don't have security, you don't have a mission in the CIA. Various compromised informants have highlighted the growing prowess of other countries. They told them, hey, they know a lot. You guys should fix this shit. And they ignored them. And now they're all dead. And this is what the problem is. The bad guys never go to jail. They stay in power. So if we were a fuck CIA operation yesterday, and then this happened, the day after, those people are still in charge. So yeah. We're not, I mean, the people who control the place should not control the place, is all I have to say. Various compromised firms have highlighted the growing prowess of other countries in employing innovative like biometric scans, facial recognition, artificial intelligence, and hacking tools to track the movement of CIA officers in order to discover their sources. See, I said this a couple of days ago. I said they make us weak here. Our education system is shit, right? The same rich families keep doing it, so you can't compete with them because you don't get like the same education, the same friends that they have, right? So they just run it like a golf course. Meanwhile, outside our borders, our enemies are becoming more and more advanced and more emboldened and more in your face. So the weakest people in the world, you might say, are the Americans, the American citizens, because everything just looks like window dressing, right? Your right to vote, your right to not be harassed by the cops, right? Your right. It just looks like people say that, and then they do whatever because they know people, and that only works here within your borders, right? And we can't overthrow it. Like I always, one of the things was America will be destroyed from within because it's too powerful. Now I don't know about that. I think for the first time in America's history, America, since it became a superpower, rather, America is a weak country who could not get a group of fucking senators and congressmen to agree to turn on a light switch without trillions of dollars. And at the end of it, the lights would remain out because neither one of them want to offend somebody or take a bold step. And we said it about the generals. It bleeds into every place. It bleeds into every place. Former official has said that the CIA case officer is frontline spies, earn promotions through recruiting new informants. In the last 2 decades, the CIA has been devoted to terrorist threats and the conflict in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria. But now, again, a centerpiece of CIA's agenda has been to improve intelligence collection on adversarial powers, both great and small, particularly as policymakers demand more insight into China and Russia, which you know nothing about. The loss of informants, former officials say, is not a new problem, but the cable demonstrates the issue is more urgent than is publicly understood. Yeah, that's not good, guys. And the question then becomes why? The hell. Excuse me. Sorry, Mr. Losing dozens of informants around the world. If they know who your informants are, they know who your spies are. So the term informant, look at this guy. Former CIA officer pleads guilty to conspiring to spy for China. This undated photo provided by the Alexandria Sheriff's Office shows Jerry Chung Shing Lee. The former CIA officer pleaded guilty to conspiring with China to commit espionage on May 1st. Yeah. Secret agents have sex all the time. I'm assuming so, right? You want to get people to like you, ingratiate themselves for you. So I'm pretty sure they drink together a lot. They may not do cocaine or heroin or anything like that, but they're trying to let you feel like, hey, I'm one of the cool balling ass dudes. You can trust me, and then trust me because we smoke and shoot guns together and drive fast cars together, and then oh hey, we know these ladies, and oh and by the way, this little piece of paper could make us a lot of money together, and then people are like, yeah, okay, fine. I don't know if I mean, not good. Ex-CIA officer Jeffrey Sterling jailed for leaking. This is 2015. Ex-CIA officer Jeffrey Sterling jailed for leaking. Former CIA officer Jeffrey Sterling spoke to journalists in Washington about the CIA. Now judge has sentenced him to prison for 3.5 years for revealing classified information. Wow. When was this? 2015. Yeah, there you go. With Mr. Obama in the White House, 8 cases involving leaks of classified information have been prosecuted. Yeah, you can't fucking be leaking classified information because you're a Republican or a Democrat, because you're how China found CIA informants. Let's hear it. Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, whether you're liberal or conservative, that's bullshit. And it's the arrogance of you, and everybody's all over. Like this whole Dave Chappelle thing is part of that. I can tie Dave Chappelle to this thing nicely. Right. So the whole thing about Dave Chappelle is you don't like what he's saying, so he has to be banned. It's banishment. This whole thing is about banishment. But other people you're gonna let ride because they, I mean, how many? Yeah, I don't know. Uh, 9 years to life for murder of a college student, Tessa Majors, New York, South Carolina. Right. Yeah, I knew that guy was going. We're gonna look at him. First of all, that 9 years to life thing is bullshit, right? It's too what? Like, give him 25 years. Look, the whole 9 years to life. You know how long life is? So from 9 to 99, that's bullshit. It's such bullshit. Um, but yeah, I've said before that it's not just that kid. I mean, I think you failed these kids. They would be out there doing this shit if there were other options. But they are taught to be like this because they and their families grow up in a perpetually attacked environment. So why would you have sympathy or empathy for anybody? Um, and other people are just shown a totally different American life, and they don't know when they wander into trouble. All right, so let's get this closed. So yeah, this dude's housekeeper, like I told you this like a month ago. I was like, dude, his housekeeper died at his house, and and then you gave your friends $500,000, and then those friends didn't. Oh yeah, he's going to jail for this. And now here we are. So let's see, lawyer, housekeeper, the art of looking up shit when you don't really know oh, what the proper title would be. Uh, is facing new charges related to the death of his housekeeper. Alice Murder charged with swindling sons of dead housekeeper. He's charged with that. They're going to keep looking into that. South Carolina Alabama is arrested on new charges. Oh my God! You thought your 2020 was bad with the pandemic. This guy's whole life began to unravel in 2020. Oh my God! All right, taking insurance money in Mays. I thought he paid out 500,000 to his friend who was a cop, not a cop, a lawyer, and the other friend who was a banker to handle this. So how did he swindle them? How much did they get? Did he say, I'm really sorry? Here's 50, not 50. Here's like $25,000 or some shit. All right. BuzzFeed, you're elected. Let's see what we got from you guys. I feel like there's something flying around in here. Is that out? That is out. Alex Murdaugh is facing new charges related to the death of his housekeeper. Murdoch, whose wife and son were shot dead in mysterious circumstances in June, past 5 months ago, allegedly stole settlement funds from the sons of his housekeeper who died in 2018. How long do you think you were going to keep that quiet? Alex Murdaugh, the South Carolina lawyer whose wife and son killed in June, has spurred a dizzying saga that has dominated national news, was arrested on Thursday and charged with connection with a separate matter. Here's the thing. Uh, this story reminds me, it's just kind of goofy and like Hollywood and like what, like, wait, it's 4 million? I thought they gave them $500,000 settlement. But it's this whole story has the same weird energy of that woman who killed her son and her daughter so she could, and her husband, and maybe her new husband's wife and a brother-in-law so they could be together. And then they found out that she was part of a cult. And then he said, yeah, she's not fit to stand trial. And the way not fit to stand trial works is they hold you in like a crazy house. But once you're sane, you might be sane in 5 years, you might be sane in 20. Then your trial takes place. So she's never getting out of jail. And if they try her tomorrow, they're going to try, if they declare that she's fine tomorrow, what's tomorrow, Friday? Saturday, they'll reinstate those charges and issue a grand jury against her. And that's 5 people, right? It's her husband, her new husband's wife, it's a young boy, a young girl, and it's her brother-in-law. That's 5 bodies. Um, and that whole crazy thing reminds me of this, just another weird, crazy story for. I wonder what it's going to be after this one. Alice Murder, the South Dissing is right. A dizzying saga that has dominated national news and was arrested on Thursday and charged in connection with a separate matter. Agents with the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, we went through this sled. Good Lord, sled. It sounds like the cops that will be patrolling where Santa lives, right? It wouldn't be South Carolina, it would be what? Santa's Correctional Law Enforcement Division or something. Murdaugh, 53, took Murdaugh 50 into custody upon his release from a drug rehabilitation facility in Orlando and has charged him with 2 felony counts of obtaining property by false pretense. The charges stem from allegations, just allegations, mind you, that Murdaugh misappropriated settlement funds intended for the sons of his housekeeper, Gloria Satterfield, who died in 2018 after a fall in Murdaugh's home. How much was the settlement? Today is merely one more step in a long process for justice for the many victims in these investigations. Man, the many victims. He's going to spend the rest of his life in jail. Chief Mark Keel said in a statement, adding that his thanks to his agents for pursuing the case over months. And this is the thing about being a big fish in a small pond, or a big fish in a big pond. There's always a bigger pond and more fish, and you don't always know the people who can squash these investigations for you, right? So you have to be a congressman or a senator and work in government like the Clintons and the Bushes and have been there for a while to kind of like get some love because you appointed judges and all this, and you have people run for office and stood up for people. This, I mean, he's a big dude in South Carolina in that county. But if he was a bigger dude in South Carolina, the state proper, the SLED people would have to kind of like say, up, we're going to pull aside and let the FBI look at this completely all in unto themselves. But the problem is obviously once you get too big, who looks into you? Nobody. And that's sort of the problem that we have with the government now. We need people to look into some of these people. No one looks into them. They just high up the ladder, high up the food chain. Case over the agent for pursuing the case over 4 months. They will continue to work tirelessly on behalf of those who were victimized by Alex Murdaugh, Keel said. As I said previously, we are committed to finding the facts wherever they may lead us, and we will not stop until justice is served. I love lawyer speeches. Saturday's death is one of 3 in recent years that have drawn scrutiny from investigators and the media following the June killing of Maggie Murdaugh, 52, and Paul Murdaugh, 22. But I mean, the son killed the girl in a boating accident. I don't think it's the movies. I don't think, and these are wealthy families. I don't think the father of the wealthy daughter who died is going to seek out some revenge like this is a any sort of like evening soap opera cop movie like Law and Order or something on the Hallmark Channel. Satterfield's death is one of three in recent years that have scrutiny that has drawn scrutiny from investigators and the media following the June. So Maggie Murdaugh, Paul Murdaugh, the housekeeper, the guy who was run over in the driveway. Is anybody else? I think that's it, right? Okay, I think that's it. And that's the three they're looking at, but they're not looking at the guy that they was found run over. The housekeeper's death was listed as natural on her death certificate. Somebody better look at that coroner when the manner should have been accidental, according to a coroner. Wait a minute, according to the coroner, so who wrote natural on the death certificate? That's something only coroners can do. Satterfield's son said Murdaugh steered them to use a lawyer, Corey Fleming. Corey Fleming, it's your ass. If you want to keep your law degree and stay out of prison, you might want to fucking start talking immediately. Who was, unbeknownst to them, one of his longtime friends. Wait, he steered you to somebody. Why would you not think he knew them? One of his longtime friends. He's going to get disbarred. I mean, it sounds like he's talking to his clients and then telling his client, and he's friends with the opposition. And he's telling the opposition what his client wants, and vice versa. The milkman, the milkman, the milkman, the mailman, the milkman, the mailman. Was unbeknownst to them one of his longtime friends, so they could sue his insurer for compensation. A settlement. I thought it wasn't $1,000,000. A settlement of $500,000 was eventually reached, but the son said they never received any money. They later learned of an additional $4.3 million settlement of which they never been made aware. Ooh, these dudes are all going to prison. Dude. It's so, what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, there's nothing like watching people who are not criminals try and commit crimes. And I'm telling you, first of all, there's a 7-year thing on whatever crime you commit. So if you bonk somebody on the head today, generally all over the country, and like I said, they can't know that you did it. All over the country, that's 7 years. So what's today? The 21st. So if you want to know that I did it, I can brag about it or write a book about it or give an interview about it. Not Thursday. I guess today's the 14th. So it will be the 15th of October, 2028, before I can say anything. Right? When did she die? Oh, 2018, they said. Ooh. His wife and son died in June, who died in 2018. So, yeah, they would have needed this thing to sit at least until 2000 and what? What am I saying here? What is it? 21st? At least until 2026. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. No, 2024. Or you could have just not fucked around with it. Man, $500,000. This whole thing. So it looks like, and this is the thing about like I said, the shit you do, and they're gonna. I mean, I'm sure they got wives and kids and nice houses. Their women are like, we are not losing. You better fucking tell these people what you know. Wow. Didn't the housekeeper trip over his dog? Is that what happened? That could happen. Big house, stairs. I mean, I'm not saying he choked her out, but I was implying that maybe she saw him do something, right? Because he's a drug addict and there's a dog, not dog, there's a dead girl, right? As well as a guy dead and run over in front of the front house. I mean, you could come up with reasons why she may have been bumped off. But then you also go, man, lawyers ain't playing these games. But then you get people who are just arrogant about, I went to the best school and I'm smarter than the average person and da 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 da. Those people will try some shit like this. You know who's one of those people? This DuPont heir who just got convicted and is going to jail for life today. Who dressed up as a woman and killed 2 people. What is going on here? What is his name? And he chopped one of them up into pieces. I was like, dear Lord. Yeah, Robert Durst sentenced to life in prison for murdering Susan Berman. And that's just one of the person, Robert Durst. That's one of the people he got. Because he's got 2 more bodies on him, one of which he was acquitted of. So, I mean, people begin to go, I'm rich. Yeah, well, now you're rich. It's like that guy who made Dog the Bounty Hunter famous, who raped those women with sleeping pills and then taped it and then slipped off. He was a Revlon heir. He could have been sitting someplace on $500 million. Now he's sitting in an American prison with 50 counts of rape. And I think he got like a 500-year sentence. Dummy. Stupid. But it's not the intellect to think about it. I mean, there's really fucked up, evil, and sinister people. The money doesn't matter, right? Treating you like shit matters. And I guess they couldn't not go near that feeling. And now they're gonna sit and rot in a box, and rightfully so. But they settled for 500 grand, was eventually reached, but the son said they never received any money. They never first of all, they never received the 500,000 that they settled on. Then they found out that it was another 500,000, which makes it 4.8. They had never been made aware of. So one, they agreed, but they never got it, and the other one they never even knew about. He is done. Instead, Fleming sent the money to Murdaugh. According to the document their new attorney filed in court, Fleming has said that the Murdaugh led him to believe the money will go to Satterfield's sons. Why? Wait, no, you don't. Hold on, wait a minute. So you gave him the money, and you're telling now in the sunlight of day that, oh no, I gave him the money because I thought he was going to give it to my clients. I gave the opposition. I as the I as the what would they be? It's not a criminal court case, right? So it's not prosecutors and defendants. It's I'm suing you. So, oh God, there's got to be different names for that, right? But anyway, I represent these people and I win the case. Why am I now giving this money to the person who lost the case and saying that I thought he was gonna? If you're a lawyer, you know that's not the way that shit works. Yeah, I think it's his ass. And here's another thing about this that I've learned: a lot of people are not good liars. You really aren't. You know almost immediately. Some people are sinister and they lie a lot, so it's hard to tell. If you ever run across a friend who you can't tell if they're lying, they told you something, right? Or you need to get rid of those friends. Yeah, they were never made aware of. Instead, Fleming sent the money to Murdaugh. According to the documents, I mean, why would you do that though? Fleming has said that Murdaugh led him to believe the money will go to Satterfield. Yeah, but that's not a really good explanation if you're their lawyers. Earlier this month, he agreed to pay back all his legal fees to the sons. See, that right there is trying to cover your ass. I didn't steal any money. I gave them the money back this week, but you had it for 2 years. And had this not happened, you wouldn't have given the money back. Earlier this month, he agreed to pay back all his legal fees. So you need to pay me $9,000 to get this money back. And now you're like, hey, I'm standing on losing everything. Why don't I just make it right by you guys and give you the money that you gave me back versus with interest, which is how it works out here in the real world. The banks don't let you borrow $50,000 to buy a house, right? And give back 50. If you borrow 50,000, there's interest and blah 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 and late fees and So maybe at the end of your loan to whatever, that 50,000 becomes 60, right? They gotta make a buck on their dollar. So, but the only people who ever give shit back are politicians and bullshit lawyers. So he gave back all his legal fees to the sons, and that the insurer will pay out their full policy limit. Fleming's law license was suspended last week. They suspended it last week, right? So hold on, here we go. Earlier, he agreed to, yeah, well, I think he had to because they just, okay, to the Suns, and that the insurer will pay out their full policy limit. What does that mean? The insurer. So, I guess is he a private lawyer or is he a lawyer from a firm? Right. So if he did this as a friend, because they were both in giant firms, right? Maybe he wasn't like a lawyer who worked at his house, right? So if he worked for a giant firm, that firm has to have insurance to operate. And since the firms, he now put the firm in jeopardy. The firm is like, this is not even worth litigating. Just fucking, we're $100 million firm. Just fucking pay them out and hopefully this shit goes away. Fire that lawyer who fucked up, and we keep our good name. And we can say we cut ties and we don't know about it. And maybe he keeps his law degree, maybe he doesn't. But we, the giant firm, have nothing to do with it. And we feel regret for the family and the death of people and blah, 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 as lawyers say, right? So this whole, the policy payout sounds like he was part of a firm and they're going to pay this family who got robbed 2018, 2 years ago. Wow. Fleming law license was suspended last week. Murdaugh was arrested in September and charged with insurance fraud and allowed to go home and go to rehab. And now he's out, and as soon as he walks out, they arrest him again. Dude, you are not getting to go to rehab with all these murders around your neck. Your ass is going to prison. I'm sorry, not prison, jail. Jail before prison. But yeah, you're not going home that day. Murdaugh was arrested in September and charged with insurance fraud, conspiracy to commit insurance fraud, and find a false police report after he allegedly orchestrated his own botched killing so that his surviving son, Buster, will receive a $10 million insurance payout. Buster looks like he's getting dick. Buster's going to lose his dad. He lost his mother, and he lost his little brother. Yikes. And by the time the lawsuits start flying, he may not get anything from his family. He allegedly hired a former client, Curtis Smith, to shoot him on it, and Curtis is now also going to jail for attempted murder. Here's the thing. If I kill myself and survive, no one's charging me with attempted suicide. If I pay you to kill me and I survive, they're going to charge you with attempted murder. I mean, people's mind is just ridiculous. He allegedly hired a former client, Curtis Smith, to shoot him on a rural road. Why does that sound like a country song? Shoot me on a rural road on September 4th, but then survived and told police he'd been shot by a passerby. Smith, 61, was arrested and charged with assisted suicide. Right? I don't think they can make the attempted murder or attempted homicide legit because the victim is in on it, right? So it has to be assault and battery, which you can get them for, and insurance fraud. Yeah, that's a lot. That looks like a lot of time to me. Murdaugh has denied any involvement in his wife and son's death, insisting he turned himself in over the insurance fraud so investigators could concentrate on their killing instead. But don't doubt it, he still has friends there. He could very well get away with this. He subsequently checked into rehab for oxycodone addiction, something his lawyers say caused him to steal vast, and that's right, he embezzled vast is the word here. Vast means large, vast sums of money from his family's law firm, and which led to his firing in September, as well as his law license being suspended. In addition to Satterfield, investigators are probing the murder's family connection to the 2015 death of Buster's classmate, Stephen Smith. All right, so his son's friend, who was found dead on a highway with a little evidence to suggest he had been hit by a car. Oh, this is a son's friend. I thought it was his friend. Dead on a highway. Oh. At the time of his death, Paul Murdaugh was facing charges. Okay, at the time of Stephen Smith's death, Paul Murdaugh was facing charges in connection with the 2019 death of Mallory Beach. That's the young son, a friend of his who had died when he was allegedly boating at night under the influence of alcohol. and hit rocks. And it's a car accident, right? Bam. Just you can't get out and sit on the side of the road. So one girl was ejected from the boat, drunk and injured and bruised, and they found her like a week later, under the influence of alcohol. An attorney for Alice Murdaugh did not immediately respond for requests for comment. Murdaugh is now being held at the Orange County Corrections Facility in Florida, awaiting an extradition hearing back to South Carolina. He didn't even go to rehab in South Carolina. He went in Florida. Murdaugh is now being held at the Orange County. Wow. Oh, let's see what somebody. I'm wondering where there's been no charges against the lawyer, Corey Fleming. Instead of looking for his client, he just gave the settlement to a personal friend. Whether he was duped or it was intentional, that seems grossly unethical and likely illegal. Let's see what they say. Ethan, lawyers typically fight for their client's freedom, even though they know they're guilty. The law and ethics mean nothing. Well, I can't really fucking argue with him there. He should be criminally math. He should be criminally charged, but at the very least, he was a student from practicing law in South Carolina. Jet Trink, 1955-55. Pretty much, Trump has been doing this for years and years and years, waiting, not patiently, for his karmic day of permanent disappearance, 6 feet under. I don't even understand what this has to do with fucking Trump. But all right, the family is so scandalous and deceitful. Glad the light is finally being shown on all of it. Leah. All right, and let's see what she's got. One reply. More than likely, Scandal in this family's middle name. More than likely, Scandal is this family's middle name. Remember, this family goes back 2-3 generations, has been very influential and unscathed for generations in this state. Maybe he has finally not caught up with them. Yeah. I can't wait for the Netflix documentary about this trash bag. Load more comments. 14 comments. Um, is every member of this family just rotten to the core? I hope they get what they deserve. You don't know what his wife was like. Uh, and the son was a young man who got drunk and had a crash, sadly killed a woman. That happens a lot. It doesn't mean he meant to do it, right? I thought he knew who killed his wife and son after hearing about the other death. I think he may be a serial killer and their murderer. I see a great TV movie coming. This family creeps me out like few others. Yes, I know most of them are dead mainly by their own hands, but what utter trash. Most of them are dead by their own hands? What? No. You don't know if the maid is dead by her own hands, and the mother and the son were definitely not dead by their own hands, and neither was this young girl, right? The boating accident. I mean, we know. I mean, this is the thing about people who write. The people, man, I've got an internet connection. Let me say dumb shit without even thinking it through. I mean, we know he killed his wife and son too, right? I'm just saying. No, you don't know that. We know he did it. We know he killed his wife and son, right? That kind of attitude is the kind of attitude that in America 100 years ago people would lynch you, right? We don't need no we and then because we know better. And America has never gotten rid of that energy. That energy is still around with Black Lives Matter and this whole thing about how dare they protest the cops. We know better. We don't care what your pain is, right? It's I want to hear about this neighbor boy. Stephen Smith. What a run of the mill name. Stephen Smith. First of all, his name is Buster. I mean, that's just Stephen Smith's investigation. Okay, this is what we want. SC Highway Patrol investigates murder rumor in teen's death. This is a kid. He looks like the kid from Home Alone. Did Buster Murdaugh kill Stephen Smith to cover up their relationship? So now you think the son killed this guy because they were secretly having sex? Why would he do that though? Is it 1970? No one cares if you're gay in the modern era. You can be gay and be on Twitter with a penis in your mouth and no one gives a fuck. Literally. So why would he kill somebody because he had I mean, well, maybe his dad would have killed him or something. I don't even know. This whole story is just fucking bonkers. I think we're down the rabbit hole on it. Police hit a roadblock, chase rumors linking murder and Stephen Smith death investigation. Police looking into the death of Stephen Smith, a 19. How young is that boy? A 19-year-old Hampton teen found dead on a rural road in 2015, 6 years ago. All these murders, no one arrested for any of them. Hit several obstacles on their initial investigation and unsuccessfully chased rumors tying the Murdaugh family to the case, according to audio interviews recent release. So they're saying people said the Murdaughs had something to do with it, but that led nowhere. So it was a waste of time because it was a red herring. That's what they're saying. Can we trust that? I mean, normally if you chase shit and it doesn't pan out, you don't get on TV and cry about it like this. The record shows SC Highway Patrol investigators circled the Murdaugh family, interviewing people with third-hand information, but never actually asked family members about their alleged involvement. The files show that a Murdaugh family member, a personal injury lawyer, called the Smith family on the day Stephen Smith was found dead, offering to represent them at no charge. The family told police they thought that the offer was weird. The case was cold for years until the killing of Paul and Maggie Murdaugh on June 7. Weeks later, the SC Law Enforcement Division, the agency investigating the double homicide, confirmed that it will investigate Smith's death due to information gathered in the Murdaugh murder investigation. A man on his way to work spotted Stephen Smith's body on a Sandy Run Road in early morning hours of July 8, 2015. Smith had a head wound consistent with being shot. The coroner explained in his report. So he was shot in the head and run the fuck over. What is going on? Oh my gosh. All right, so he had a head wound consistent with being shot, the coroner explained in the report. After his autopsy, however, Smith's death was ruled a hit and run. What is up with these coroners, man? The forensic pathologist who conducted the autopsy. I'm sorry. It's just the idea that he's got a hole in his head and you go, it was a hit and run. If I come to the scene and it's me and you and we're looking at like the crime scene and the guy's hanging from a rope, but he's got like 3 bullets in his chest, right? And I go, man, it looks like suicide, right? And he's got dollar bills stuffed in his mouth. Yeah, it looks like suicide. I don't care what you see. Put it on the coroner's report, and it looks totally different. Like a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? If you just said suicide and there's no picture, people will be like, "What in the fucking world?" Considered being shot, the coroner explained in the report. After his autopsy, however, Smith's death was ruled a hit and run. The forensic pathologist who conducted the autopsy hypothesized he could have been struck in the head by the mirror on a large truck. How does that look like it being shot? And I've got a little information on this because there was a guy who was standing on a New York City island and was hit in the face by a bus, which kicked him off the thing and into traffic, and it killed him. But the hit on the bus damaged his neck, damaged his face, right? I mean, you would know if you were hit by what bus? It was just a little nick right here. It just barely. So now you're assuming that, oh my God, like the shit that people make up to clear books is sort of amazing. After his autopsy, however, Smith's death was ruled a hit and run. The forensic pathologist who conducted the autopsy hypothesized he could have been struck in the head by the mirror on a large truck. Okay. SC Highway Patrol, that sounds like bullshit, but SC Highway Patrol officers investigated the case, doubted that conjecture. Okay, at least the cops aren't stupid. There's just no physical evidence. We got evidence on the body, but no physical evidence. So SCHP Corporal M.E. SCHP, South Carolina Highway Patrol Corporal M.E. Duncan explained to Smith's twin sister, had a twin sister, on July 17, 2005 interview. Like I said, I will say hit and run. I don't even want to call it that. It's more of a death investigation. It could be a homicide. It could be a voluntary. It could be a voluntary, involuntary, a voluntary, involuntary. I don't even know what that means. South Carolina Highway Patrol Lance Corporal Todd Proctor, who at the time was tracking rumors that the murder were involved, was more frank. He didn't get hit by no car, Proctor told one person he interviewed. I'm not saying whoever did this murdered him, Proctor said, because the murder has to be premeditated. It may have been an accident that was covered up, he theorized. He's on our radar. According to CHP interview, Proctor receives tips from several sources that put Murdaugh's older brother, Buster, was somehow involved in the death. The case files show only that Proctor tried calling Buster Murdaugh. The case file shows only that Proctor tried calling Buster Murdaugh on October 20th, 2015. His voicemail was full, I'm sorry. So he sent him an email. The file shows no record that Proctor made contact with Murdaugh. Okay, now I got to go back because I forgot who Proctor was. In September 20th, interview with tipsters about the rumors, Proctor hinted, no, Proctor is a cop. Right? The case file shows only that Proctor tried calling Buster on October 20th. All right, first of all, who's Proctor? Yeah, Proctor's the Lance Corporal. So Proctor is the cop. And he's saying he tried calling Buster Murdaugh, the supposed murderer or suspect, and his voicemail was full, so he sent him an email. But Buster never got back to the cop. So he blew up the cop in a murder investigation. Maybe you shouldn't have sent an email. Maybe you should have went down there and fucking arrested him. The file shows no record that Proctor made contact with Murdaugh, your murder suspect. What? All right. No. I'm not judging. I'm just curious about how this whole thing went down. In September, in a September 2nd, 2015 interview with tipsters about the rumors, Proctor hinted that there may have been more contact with Murdaugh family over this case. Proctor said Buster Murdaugh has been on CHP's radar for some time. The Murdaughs know that he said they know that he's on his radar. So look, here's the thing. If I have the cops telling me that we're looking for him because we think he did it, I'm not talking to the cops either. The cops had zeroed in on me, and I'm not helping you put me in prison, right? If you said we don't have any suspect, but we would like to talk to everybody, I would go talk to you. But once you go, Shirazama is a suspect, I'm like, I'm not talking to them. They're not listening to talk to me. They're listening to trip me up and play word games, right? And when I go, I'm going with lawyers, and I'm saying as little as possible. I think that just makes sense. The CHP investigator tried to trace the rumors about Buster Murdaugh back to their sources through classmates of Stephen Smith who had passed them along. So Stephen Smith said, I'm dating Buster Smith and we hang out and it's a good time. According to audio files, Proctor was unable to find the source or locate any evidence to corroborate the rumors. And here's the problem with that. Teenagers tweet shit and there would have been an email, a text message, so-and-so, I hate so-and-so, sleep with so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Now you can't find any information about this. That's a problem. Proctor now works as a school resource officer with the Berkeley Sheriff's Office. Wait, why did he lose his highway patrol gig? To the sheriff's office. Reported with the Island Packet and Beaufort Gazette were unsuccessful in interviewing Proctor after leaving multiple messages for him at the school where he worked with the Berkeley Sheriff's Office. Come on. Other links to the family. The case has one confirmed link to the murders, according to audio interviews and case notes. Buster's uncle, Randolph Randy Murdaugh IV, a lawyer who called the Smith family shortly after they learned Smith's death. So as soon as he died, an uncle shows up and is like, man, this is horrible. I can represent you in this thing. Before you talk to a doctor about what happened to you, yeah, there's something fucking scuzzy AF going on here. He was shot, but then he was run over. I don't know. The day that Stephen passed away, Randy Murdoch was the second person to call my dad after the coroner. Stephanie Smith, Stephen's twin sister, said on July 17, 2015, and say he wanted to take the case and it would be free of charge and everything. Yeah, they wanted to know what's going on, so they put a guy inside. Man, this whole these people are done. The day that Stephen passed away, Randy, blah, 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 charges and everything. Smith said the family thought it was weird that the representation was offered for free. Duncan with Highway Patrol didn't ask any further questions about it in his interview with Stephanie Smith. He didn't drill down on it. Did you even at least go talk to this lawyer guy, Randy the lawyer? On Thursday, a reporter with the Island Pack left a message for Murdoch at his law firm, Peter Murdoch, Parker, Elsroth, and Dietrich, PA, based in Hampton. Murdoch works as a personal injury attorney, which may explain why he would contact the family in mourning. Yeah, okay, I can see that. But they're a random family. Does he contact every family? It's a random family. It's a hit and run. You don't know who hit you. Who are you suing for this hit and run? Who are you representing them from? Who are you suing? You're not prosecuting the case or defending him from a criminal lawsuit. So why are you there? Man. So in mid-December 2015, the Highway Patrol Duncan spoke with a Hampton police officer. The file shows the officer, Nick Ginn, had third-hand information from an 18-year-old student at the Legacy Christian Academy in Ridgeland. The student confided in his stepdad that he knew who may have been driving drunk and killed Smith. Oh my God, people, you're fucking killing me. Look, listen, if you run somebody over, there's a car involved, right? There's gristle and shit and bone in the. I mean, we're talking about a hit and run. What is it, a slow hit and run? Was he laying in the street and you just ran over him with your tires? I mean, is there a damaged car? The student can find it in his, and everybody has a phone. You could get a warrant for his phone, see how far the phones, because everybody's no more than an arm or 3 feet away from your phone at any given time. I don't see how this is not close. The student confided in his stepdad that he knew who may have been driving drunk and killed Smith. The stepfather called Officer Ginn. On December 18th, 2015, Proctor followed up. He eventually reached the student's stepdad, who told Proctor, December doesn't give us a date. Okay, December 2015. December 18th, Proctor followed up. He eventually reached the student's stepdad, who told Proctor that the reason that he was passing this information on was because Randy Murdoch told him to. So the same lawyer who was going to represent your family now shows up to tell a witness, this sounds like witness tampering, that they should call the cops. Why do you know this lawyer? There were no follow-up questions from Proctor or any references to this lead in a file afterwards. The file contained no interview with members of the Murdoch family. Smith harassed before death. Stephanie Smith and her mother, Sandy, said Stephen had been acting strangely in 2 weeks before he died. Stephen played hooky the day before his death, and he normally never skipped school, Sandy Smith said. He was taking a summer class at Orangeburg Calhoun Technical College. His sister said he was always staying out late and then would take the back roads to their home in Hampton. She described him as acting secretive. While Stephanie Smith was aware that her brother, an openly gay teen in small town Hampton, was on dating apps, he didn't think he was in a relationship. So she and her family were surprised when a 47-year-old Hampton County man came to Stephen Smith's wake announcing he was Smith's boyfriend. You're 47, the guy's 19. Okay. Where's his phone? I mean, in an approximately hour-long conversation with the South Carolina Highway Patrol investigators, Investigator Duncan, that sometimes turned contentious. You're arguing with the person, it turned contentious. The alleged boyfriend said he spoke to Smith on the phone on the day he died. So the boyfriend, a 47-year-old Hampton man, spoke to the cops for an hour about this guy. Sometime turned contentious. The alleged boyfriend said he spoke to Smith on the phone on the day he died. Okay, here's how you can prove this. If they were boyfriend, they have phone calls back and forth. How often did they call each other? Was he a boyfriend? There's only 2 calls between them. I got so many questions. Earlier in the night, the man said Smith had told him that he was at a store on Snyder Crossroad between Allentown and Walterboro in Colleton. Got no reference for that. He said he was being harassed at the store. The man told Duncan on July 14, 2015. He said it was a couple of guys in a pickup truck, if I recall correctly. He said they were rednecks. He said Smith later told him he felt like he was being followed. So this guy is a Southern boy. He grew up in it. He don't know what a redneck is. And I'll also say this about small towns. You can be gay in a small town. There's 60 people, everybody know each other. 500 people, everybody know each other, right? Now all of a sudden you don't know these. Man, this whole story sounds fucking weird to me. And this could be a red herring. My boyfriend told me that he was way across town doing something else, and it was totally not the rich kid lawyer guy. It was 2 rednecks in a pickup truck. How cliche is that? That could be anybody. He said it was a couple of guys in a pickup truck, if I recall correctly. He said they were rednecks. Nobody got a plate. Nobody's got a. He said Smith later told him he felt like he was being followed. The boyfriend told CHP investigators that his last text on Smith was around 3:30 a.m. on July 8th. Smith was supposed to be on his way to his place, the man said. Authorities thought Smith, okay, so he does have a text message. Authorities thought Smith may have run out of gas and was walking to the nearest gas station when he was killed. His car was found abandoned a few miles from where he died. The gas hatch was open with the gas cap hanging on the side. That doesn't mean he was out of gas. Did you check the gas gauge? Did it say he was out? Did someone put something in his car so the car would stop? Look, man, why am I asking these questions? Seriously. I mean, this whole thing seems lazy. Stephanie said that it doesn't add up. Agreed. Smith wouldn't have hopped into the woods if he heard a car coming. She said 2 of them had done that before. He wouldn't have hopped into the woods. Why wouldn't he? You could lose people in the woods. And he had his phone. Why didn't he call for help? Call the cops. Why is he walking in the middle of the street? Then they run him over. If they run him over at a high rate of speed, his body hits the grill. There's car damage. If there's no damage to he had to be out and unconscious, and then someone got in their car and ran him over while he was lying on the road. None of this makes sense to me. It doesn't add up. Smith wouldn't have hopped into the woods if he heard a car coming. She said the 2 of them had done that before. Smith, it's not wouldn't have, it's would have. I'm sorry. Yeah, that makes sense. In an interview last month, Sandy Smith said she was overjoyed to find out SLED was opening a new investigation into her son's death. She felt vindicated. That was like the best day of my life in 6 years, said Sandy Smith told the Island Packet. I was just so ecstatic. It was shocking. Outrageous. Favorite quote: you can have all the money in the world, but one thing you will never have is a dinosaur. Homer Simpson. This is your favorite quote. Most likely to become a medical physician or rule the world. Man. I feel bad for people like these moms who lose their young sons. I feel so bad for them. He don't look happy at all. Yeah. Jake Shore is a senior writer covering breaking news for the Island Packet and the Beaufort Gazette. He reports on criminal justice, police, and the court system in both in Beaufort and Jasper counties. Jake originally came from sunny California and attended school at Fordham University in New York City. Hey, my old cyber ground. In 2020, Jake won a first place award for beat reporting on police from South Carolina to Press Association. Huh. So he's from California. He went to Fordham University in New York. He got the deal, like, he got accepted for him. So he went to California to go to New York, and now he's working in South Carolina as a beat reporter in a small paper. The Supreme Court of South Carolina. The Office of Disciplinary Counsel asked his court to place respondent on interim suspension pursuant to Rule 17B of Rule, court, in the matter of Corey Howerton Fleming. Ugh, you guys suck. Let's see what he looks like. There's a lot of Corey Howerton Flemings, apparently. It's either this guy. Let me get me out of there. It's either this guy. Oh, it's this guy. Or is it this guy? Huh. I guess this is some South Carolina Supreme Court suspends law license of attorneys. Yeah, so if I get my law license suspended, I get it back in a few months. I'll give this family back their money, and then I'll just go on about my business like nothing ever happened. I had no. He should be gone. The South Carolina Supreme Court suspended the law license of Corey Fleming, the attorney who handled the wrongful death settlement, a longtime housekeeper of attorney Alex Murdaugh. Here's the thing. What happened to the banker? The banker should be facing charges too. Do we want to read this? It's not that long. All right. The South Carolina Supreme Court suspended the law license of attorney who handled the wrongful death settlement for the longtime housekeeper of attorney Alex Murdaugh. An order issued Friday suspended the law license Corey Howerton Fleming until further notice. It's not like suspended. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Until further notice. Fleming was named in September. What is normally happening is they're waiting for this all to die down and another girl to go missing, so people stop looking, and then they'll just they'll give them a smack on the hand, and then they'll give them a smack on the hand and then send them back to court. Fleming was named in September in a lawsuit filed by the estate of Gloria Sackville, who died at age 57, as the court document described as a trip and fall accident at the Murdaugh family home. Who called it a trip and fall accident? The lawsuit alleged Satterfield Children never received more than $4 million in settlement funds reached between Fleming, who was serving as their attorney, and Murdaugh. The lawsuit filed on September 15th. Sued Murdaugh Fleming and Fleming's law firm yes, I knew he had a law firm. The law firm said, "Look, we'll pay you all of it. We just want this to go away, and this guy's fired, and it's not on us because we've got all these other clients that we got to keep a good reputation with in all these courts. We need to let this shit go away." And that they're gonna give this family $4 million and fucking make it up someplace else in another fucking family. Fleming and Fleming's law firm, but I'm sure they're losing clients because of this, because they're supposed to be a high-end firm, right? Fleming and Fleming's law firm for the breach of fiduciary duty and civil conspiracy. Attorneys Eric Bland and Ronnie Richter, who represented Satterfield's children in the lawsuit. Ronnie Richter. We want to know what happened to Eric Bland, and are they both lawyers? Hold it. Who represented Oh yeah, they're lawyers who represented Satterfield's children in the new suit. Said Murdoch referred Fleming to Satterfield's son in a wrongful death suit and said Fleming was one of Murdoch's best friends and college roommate. Wow, they went back like 30 years to bury these people. And this is what happens. The laws of secret language, right? And they get to fucking hack the government and get rich doing it and heaping all the bullshit on like people who don't know the law. And this is what this seemed like to me. Or your friend's a lawyer, or your friends are judges, or your friends are bankers, and before you know it, you're just running a fucking conspiracy. Late last week, however, Bland and Richter announced a settlement had been reached between Satterfield's estate, Fleming, and the insurance carrier connected to the lawsuit. We don't, this is going to look bad for all of us. We want this to go away as soon as possible. Here's your settlement. Your settlement is all the money that you were supposed to get in the first place. Maybe a little, normally it's like, we'll give you half, right? We'll give you a quarter. This, we can keep this in court. And this, no, but give them the money. Just give them the money. Just give them the money and let them go. That's exactly what happened. Settlement. This thing broke in June, for God's sake. They settled already. Mr. Fleming stepped forward and did the right thing by the state. Mr. Fleming and his law firm maintained they, like others, were victims of Alec Murdoch's fraudulent schemes. Bland and Richter wrote, no, they weren't. Fleming and his law firm, Moss, Cone, Fleming, PA, and Satterfield Estate released a joint statement. Fleming and his law firm released a joint statement. Huh. That's interesting. I guess they're not going to fire him. On October 1st, 2021, Corey Fleming and his law firm reached a settlement with the estate of Gloria Satterfield and Mr. Satterfield's son, under which Mr. Fleming and his law firm are personally repaying all legal fees and expenses they received, and the firm's malpractice insurance carrier is paying the full limit of its policy. The settlement was reached. It's not a settlement. It's an admission of guilt. The settlement was reached less than 1 month after Mr. This whole thing took 1 month. It took a month for them to settle this fast. You know how dirty this was? This should not go away. Where the fuck is the Justice Department looking into this? The settlement was reached less than 1 month after Mr. Fleming's first learned that the settlement fund recovered for Mrs. Satterfield's son and her estate had been stolen by Missy, so they're putting all the blame on him. Here's the thing. She was a fucking housekeeper. Why does she have a $4 million life insurance policy? Why would you settle for $4 million for a housekeeper? None of this makes sense to me. None of this makes sense to me. This sounds like an episode of The Heat. He did not, they gave a housekeeper who died at the house $4 million. That's crazy. I mean, she's a housekeeper. He was trying to get his son to get $10 million. And the son is the son of a lawyer and a lawyer lady, right? The wife is a lawyer. I wonder what the gardener gets if he died. You think he gets $4 million? Everyone in the house gets $4 million? Man. And I get that if you die at work, you get more, right? But come on, it's $4 million. Mr. Fleming acknowledged that the material mistakes were made by him at crucial times throughout this matter. He acknowledges that he made mistakes at crucial times throughout this matter. So he kept making, whenever it counted, he fucked it up. And sincerely only lawyers get away with apologies. And sincerely apologizes to Miss Satterfield's sons for everything they had been through and what they did not receive, and that they did not receive their rightful monies from the death of their mother. $4 million. Ms. Fleming was engaged to pursue claims on Mr. Fleming was engaged to pursue claims on behalf of Ms. Satterfield's estate. He pursued those claims, negotiated substantial settlement with Mr. Murdoch, insurance carrier, and reduced his fees by 50% to increase the net recovery from Ms. Satterfield's sons. Really? You went out of your way for this housekeeper. Cut his own, and then they got none of the money. This whole thing is a fucking shit show. Wow. We have been streaming for 1 hour and 10 minutes. When it comes time to disburse the settlement funds, Mr. Fleming trusted his close friend and colleague to deal with him truthfully and honorably, only to be misled and deceived. Oh, our lawyer is a moron. He's an idiot. But it's no one's fault. How is he still a lawyer? Why would anybody trust his judgment? Man, only to be misled and deceived in one of the worst possible ways for a lawyer. Alice Murdaugh, lied to Mr. Fleming and to steal clients' funds. Mr. Fleming maintains he was not a willing participant in Mr. Murdaugh's scheme, but was used. Mr. Fleming said he would never knowingly jeopardize a client's funds or put a personal or professional relationship above his professional responsibilities, but he did that. Until early September 2021, which was a month ago, he sincerely believed that the settlement funds had been properly dispersed. But they were your clients. You could have called them. Since that time, Mr. Fleming and his law firm have made every effort to do the right thing. The law firm is on the hook for this by Ms. Satterfield and her sons, which is reflected in both their ongoing cooperation and the settlement reached on October 1st, 2021. This stops them from suing them. Look, if you didn't take this settlement now, and I'm sure they'd be like, we'll keep you in court forever. But this looks like a kind of settlement where you could have got $25, $30 million from these people because they're all fucking dirty. So now they give you your rightful due after trying to rob you of it. And they pay no price. The elite. The fucking elite. Buccaneers at Eagles, Dodgers at Giants. You sound like that guy from Star Trek. What is it? At Tanagra? Mr. Fleming State ongoing cooperating settlement reached on October 1st, 2021. Mr. Fleming appreciates the professionalism shown by the attorneys representing the Satterfields heirs. So now he also in uncovering the misappropriated funds and their intent on making the heirs whole. Mr. Fleming agrees to provide his continued cooperation in this matter. The state will continue. What else is he going to do? Say he's not going. The state will continue pursuing other culpable parties who resist acceptance of responsibility for their part in this tragic matter. Bland and Richard say on behalf of the family. Murdaugh has been accused of stealing funds of his own law firm. This is bullshit. This whole thing right here is bullshit. This guy is bullshit, in my humble opinion. That guy is bullshit. Wow. At the time of his death, Palmer was facing charges. Yeah, we went through this. Wow. What are you even? Look at this guy. Yeesh. He looks like Robin Williams from that movie where he was a guy who developed people's film, and he would sneak into the people's house and wanted to be part of their family. Yeah, this guy. All right, I guess that is it for us. It's 7:45 here on the East Coast. We have a minute left. Let me just end this. Wow. So yeah, the CIA losing operatives is bad. We'll leave that on for a little bit. We'll close this one. This whole Murdaugh thing is just really crazy. Oy, 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 oy. All right, so, oh man, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of you. We'll see you in the next one. The next one's tomorrow, 6:30. William, thanks for coming through. I want to thank everybody who came through in the chat, all chats. Like and subscribe. Karma Armor on YouTube. I'm sorry, Karma Armor on Twitch and Truest Armor on YouTube. Like and subscribe. It helps the channel. And we will get with you in the next one. And the next one is tomorrow at 6:30. Have a good night, William. Everyone else, have a good evening. We will see you tomorrow. We're here every day, Monday through Saturday, 6:30. Sundays, we are here at 7:30 a.m. Come get some. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you in the next one. And like I always say, the next one's tomorrow. Peace.